Amanda was the last child in her family, the only girl among two older brothers. Her parents were wealthy, but even at 13, she wasn't sure what they did for a living. Whenever she asked, her mother would say, "We run businesses, my dear." She had grown up in a big house surrounded by luxury, but her favorite part was her childhood with the time spent with her brothers, Nonso and Charles. They were her best friends, always looking out for her, always making her laugh. But everything changed when they left for the university. They only came home when their parents forced them, and even then, it wasn't for long. One evening, Amanda sat on her bed, staring at her tab during a video call with Nonso. "When will you and Charles come home again? I've missed you," she said. Nonso sighed, rubbing his forehead. "I'm sorry, honey, but we won't be back anytime soon." He exchanged a quick look with Charles, who was sitting beside him. "Look, there's nothing happening at home, really. Anyway, you understand when you're older." A few weeks later, her parents dropped a bombshell. She would be going to a boarding school. They were too busy to take care of her properly, and they believed she needed discipline and structure. Amanda was shocked. "Mom, boarding school sounds scary. I don't think I want to go there." "Do not fear, my darling. I know you like your privacy, but your father and I have visited the school. It's a beautiful place with lovely people. You will love it." "But Mom," but Amanda interrupted gently. "Look, I went to a boarding school and I did not die. Trust that your daddy and I will always give you the best. And this is no different. Okay? You'll be fine." But Amanda wasn't convinced. She spent hours browsing about boarding schools and watching movies featuring boarding school scenes. Slowly, her fears melted away, replaced with curiosity and excitement. Finally, the day came. On a Sunday evening, her parents packed all her belongings into the car and they set off. The journey took about an hour, and Amanda spent most of it scrolling on her tab, only looking up when the car came to a stop. She blinked as a tall, plus-sized woman approached, smiling warmly. "Welcome, I'm the school's matron," she introduced herself. "Please, madam, keep a close watch on our little princess. We want her to have a great time here," Amanda's father said in his usual calm tone. The matron smiled. "Yes, sir. Your little princess is in good hands. You have nothing to worry about." Her parents hugged her briefly before getting into the car. "Honey, we would have stayed longer and helped you unpack, but it's already getting late and I have a meeting to catch up with." "See you," her father said as they waved and drove off. Amanda felt a deep loneliness settle over her. It wasn't just because her parents left. She was used to their absence. But this time, she was in a completely unfamiliar place. She took a deep breath. "Alright dear, I'll walk you to your room," the matron said with a smile, leading the way. Amanda followed, scanning the school environment. It was a large and beautiful place, and she liked it. They passed a field where some girls were playing football. Finally, they climbed to the first floor of a 3-story building, painted white and brown. "Here we are," the matron announced, opening the door. Amanda stepped in and looked around. The room was big and she loved that, but she would have loved it more if it were just hers. "Where are the other girls?" Amanda asked. "Well, they will be joining you tomorrow," the matron replied. "Will it be possible to get this room all to myself?" Amanda asked again. The matron smiled. "Why do you all want to stay alone? How do you learn to love and look out for each other when you stay alone? Our school do not allow that, dear. You stay in pairs or you go home." "Well, this is it, child," the matron continued. "I'll leave you to unpack. We'll see at dinner by 8 p.m. She was relieved to see a private bathroom instead of the public ones she had heard about in other schools. As soon as she sat on her bed, her phone rang from inside her bag. She hurriedly muted it and answered. It was a video call from her brothers. Yo, baby girl. How's your new crib?" Nonso grinned. "Nonso, your call almost got me in trouble," she whispered. "What if you rang when the matron was here?" "Chill, baby girl," Charles laughed. They spoke for a while before Nonso asked, "You talked in the power bank too, right?" "Yes, I did," Amanda smiled. "Alright, be good, okay?" they said before hanging up. She was grateful to her brothers for teaching her this trick. Since she was alone in the room, she scrolled through her phone until she heard a loud bell, followed by a bang on her door. She looked at the clock. It was 8 p.m. Then she suddenly remembered. It was time for dinner. Amanda was shocked to see the number of female students walking toward the large dining room. Her parents never mentioned that this was an all-girls school. Well, what more would she find out, she thought. There were girls walking and talking in groups and some others alone like her. Amanda was disappointed that it was an all-girls school. There would be no fun, she thought. They all stood in line to get their food. Most of the bigger girls sat in corners gossiping or teasing younger students while waiting their turn. Amanda saw a short line and stood behind the last person. But immediately it got to her turn, a senior girl came and tapped her. "Move it." "But it's my turn," Amanda replied, her bright eyes looking directly at the senior girl. The senior girl whistled, and the girl before Amanda that just left returned. "Were we behind you, yes or no?" The girl looked at Amanda and then back at the senior girl. "Senior Nina was here first," she said quietly and hurried off immediately. The senior girl immediately brushed Amanda to the side as almost 10 of her friends followed. She stuck out her tongue at Amanda as she walked away with her food. Amanda waited patiently until they were all served. When it finally got to her turn, the kitchen staff told her that she had exhausted the food in her custody and asked her to join other lines. Since no one was allowed to enter the hostel until dining was over, Amanda angrily went and sat down. A few minutes later, a plate of food was kept before her. She looked up and saw a handsome young man smiling at her. "You can have this," he said. "I noticed you were unable to get yours." "Thank you," Amanda whispered as he walked away. The bell rang in no time and everyone retired back to their hostels. The next day, Amanda hurried immediately after she heard the bell for lunch. She was happy to be the first in line. She ate hurriedly and was on her way back to class when she saw the young handsome teacher walking towards her. She greeted him and was walking past when he held her elbow smiling. "Fine girl, you seem new." "Yes, sir. I'm Amanda Thompson," she replied. He paused and looked at her. "And what class?" "SS1, she said. Good. Well, coming from me, welcome to Xavier's High. We'll see in math class," he said as he walked past. Back in class, a lady walked up to her and said, "Hi, I'm Bethy. Can I join you?" Amanda was contemplating when she noticed the seat was a pair and that others sat in twos too. She immediately adjusted. Then Bethy said, "I arrived a few minutes ago. I couldn't wait to unpack as I was so curious to meet my classmates," Bethy said, smiling. "That's good," was all Amanda said, but she was yet to find out that she was stuck with a blabber mouth. Bethy went on about her journey, her likes and dislikes, her thoughts about the school, what she ate before coming, etc. Amanda was grateful when the math teacher walked in. The blabbermouth finally stopped. He welcomed the new student and formally introduced himself as Mr. Johnson. His class was the last for the day. Bethy immediately continued from where she stopped. Amanda, already pissed but not wanting to show it, asked, "We'll see tomorrow, dear. I'm going to my hostel." "Well, I'm going to my hostel too, so we can go together," Betty said, smiling, while she continued with her stories. Amanda was patient, waiting for her to stop downstairs, but she climbed with her to the first floor and straight to her room. Then it dawned on Amanda that she was indeed stuck with the blabbermouth. While she was disappointed, Betty was so happy they were roommates. She gave her a hug as they walked into the room. Months later, Amanda was already familiar with the school and everyone. She had even made friends and enemies too. Even worse, she was living a totally different life that her family was unaware of, all because of Mr. Johnson. What started with, "I'm looking out for you as my younger sister," became, "Meet me in the house behind the school farm." That was how Amanda was exposed to smoking, drinking, and was finally disvirgined. All credit to Teacher Johnson. At first, Amanda was grateful to have a protective older brother figure. She trusted him. Even when he introduced her to smoking and drinking, she obeyed, believing he would never harm her. Other students would often whisper, calling her Mr. John's daughter. They envied how much attention he gave her. Even the school recognized him as a responsible teacher, awarding him for his dedication. Amanda saw nothing wrong. She had already become addicted to smoking, drinking, and the intimacy they shared. One day, she got really sick, but refused to go to the school's hospital. When it got worse, her scared roommates were forced to take her to the hospital. 2 days later, she was diagnosed as 3 months pregnant. Amanda stared at the doctor, shaking. "Please don't tell anyone," she begged. The doctor frowned. "You have 2 weeks to inform the father of your child. Why would you be pregnant at 16? In an all-girls school?" She looked at Amanda with disgust and walked away. Amanda met with Mr. John in their usual hideout. While they smoked, she told him about the doctor's report and threats. He became quiet and asked, "Did you tell her it was me?" "No, why would I?" That's why I'm telling you now, so we can find a way out before the 2 weeks expires. We? He asked. Look, Amanda, when you were a child, I took care of you and made sure you had no troubles. But now you're a woman, so fix your problems yourself. Amanda said nothing, believing he acted that way because of the shock of the news. But after that day, he was almost not seen anywhere. He even stopped showing up at their meeting place. Then one evening, while Amanda lay there alone, he hurried in. She was happy to see him and tried to hug him, but he resisted and said, Look, there is fire on the mountain. Have you done anything about the pregnancy? He asked. Amanda nodded in the negative. He rubbed his head, pacing. Well, Sharon knows. Amanda frowned. Sharon? He nodded. Yes, your classmates. I dated her before you. She found out about the pregnancy and is threatening to expose me unless you leave the school. That's ridiculous. What would you bend to her threats? Amanda asked. Well, in case you don't know, Sharon is crazy. She will do every word she said. And do you know what that means? Mr. John said, looking worried and angry. Mr. John, calm down, Amanda said, trying to lean towards him. Get off me! All you rich kids never understand. Worst thing, your parents will fix you up somewhere and I lose the only job that's kept me for years now. Look, Amanda, we've had a good time together, but I think it's time we faced reality. You abort that pregnancy, create a new story, and leave the school as soon as possible. But that's unfair, Mr. John, Amanda said with a cheery voice. I've done nothing, baby girl. Leave the school or else you will see what's truly unfair. He barked as he turned and walked away, leaving Amanda staring after him, numb and broken. Amanda felt lost. She didn't know what to do or where to turn. Lying in her bed under her blanket, she cried and cried and cried. Betty and Chioma tried consoling her, but nothing worked. Betty looked at Chioma and whispered, Maybe we should call her school daddy. Amanda immediately threw off her blanket and shouted, Don't you dare! She barked, her eyes blazing with anger. And don't you ever mention that name again! Shocked, Betty and Chioma exchanged glances and quietly left her alone. Days passed and Amanda became a shadow of herself. She barely spoke, barely ate, and smoked even more than before. One afternoon during lunch, Amanda took her tray and was heading to the table when Sharon suddenly bumped into her, spilling the entire plate of food onto Amanda's uniform and the floor. Are you blind? Amanda yelled, beating Sharon's chest. Before they could exchange more words and blows, the teacher walked in and saw them. You two, follow me. They were led straight to the principal's office. The principal looked at them angrily and shook her head. What is wrong with both of you? Are you thugs? We're sorry, ma, they both mumbled, looking down. Oh, not yet, my dears. You will be very sorry when I'm done with you. Then she turned her attention to Amanda, looking her up and down. And you, what's going on with you? Why do you look like a cancer patient? Don't you eat? Now, you will go and see the school's nutritionist and get back to me next week. Their punishment was to wash all the curtains in their respective hostels. While they waited on the washing machine, Sharon stole a glance at Amanda. For the first time, she truly noticed how sickly Amanda looked. What's going on with you? You really are not looking good. Amanda ignored her and stuffed another curtain into the washing machine. Sharon grabbed her hand, stopping her. I can help you, Sharon said softly. Look, I know I threatened Mr. John before, but I was blinded by jealousy. I thought he left me for you, but now I see clearly. He's not good for either of us. I don't even know what I saw in him. Amanda froze. And so? How is that my business? Sharon stepped closer. We can both expose him and be free. Amanda shook her head quickly. No, I don't want that. My family will hear about it and I can't bear the disappointment and pain. I'll just get rid of the pregnancy and move on with my life. Sharon sighed. You think that's moving on? Sharon hissed and went back to washing. Weeks later, Amanda fell terribly sick again. The moment the doctor saw her, she recognized her immediately. You? The doctor exclaimed. How did I forget about our agreement? Now you almost died trying to abort the same pregnancy. This is enough, the doctor said as she dialed the principal's number. Amanda shut her eyes as tears streamed down her face. It was over. Everything was over. Amanda, with her head lowered, confessed everything, her voice shaking. When she finished, the principal folded her arms, her face filled with shock and disbelief. So Teacher Johnson did all this? Enough! This man must be arrested. The next morning, the police arrived at the school. Students and teachers gathered to watch as Mr. John was dragged out of the school. Days later, Amanda's parents came and withdrew her from the store, blaming it all on the school. Amanda was shocked. She had expected anger, punishment, shame, but instead her parents wanted to help her heal. Weeks later, Amanda was at home during one of her therapy sessions when Sharon visited. "I came to check on you," she said. Amanda smiled for the first time in a long time. Sharon stepped inside, and just like that, a new friendship began, built not on pain, but on healing.